let me make sure that I get this straight. The Republicans continue to fall in line behind a man who essayed a woman, a fraud, a man who tried to end our democracy, a man who wants to rip up the Constitution, a man who worshiped dictators and alienate our own allies. A man who, while he was in office, he did nothing to help the American people, but he did everything to help corporations. Biggest tax breaks ever to corporations while hurting the middle and working class. Now, let me see if I can get this straight. The Democratic Party decided to bring their own leader down. A leader who has done nothing but help the American people. A leader who got us out of a pandemic. A leader who has helped millions with student debt relief. A leader who has helped seniors by lowering the cost of prescription drugs and insulin. A leader who has helped small businesses, especially Black small businesses. A leader who has banned medical debt from credit scores. A leader who has eliminated junk fees. A leader who is working on holding corporate landlords accountable for price gouging when it comes to rent. A leader who wants to help the American people with buying a home. And yet the DC Democrats wants Joe to go. And it's the DC Democrats who has decided to listen to their big donors instead of the people who vote for them. The DC Democrats are so worried about the polls, but they haven't once took their lazy asses out to speak to their constituents, knock on their damn doors, and let them know how good Biden is doing. The reason why Joe Biden numbers are down is because of y'all motherfuckers. Like-minded Americans, please make sure we get out there and vote. Because these elite or corporate donors, they are threatening to hold money from the Democratic Party. Personally, I don't give a fuck because they don't do a damn thing for me. It wasn't them who took care of us, the American people. It was Joe Biden and Kamala. That's it. Bye.
Blue wave, we rise to save the day. Only me, only you can let our hearts sail away on a blue wave.
Okay, so I am joined with my lovely co-host Anita Ferguson from San Antonio, Texas. And it's been a week and we've got a lot to say. So Anita, why don't you start?
Well, she made a great point about the polls. The reason the polls are reflecting the fact that these people have been trashing Biden since the debate. Of course, his poll number, although I haven't seen his poll numbers drop. I'm not sure what they're talking about. So,
Right.
and Midas Touch reported these connections with the polls that they're showing to a Peter Thiel organization. So I'm a little suspicious about them anyway.
That's trustworthy, right?
Yeah, well, Peter Thiel, of course, who bankrolls JD Vance. Yeah.
And what are his ties? What is he?
What are Peter Thiel's ties or JD Vance? Peter Thiel has all kinds of ties to fascism. He had a problem in Argentina where he was demanding they pay back some loan that would have bankrupted them. It's a long story. You'd have to go, but Google that. Yeah, but Peter Thiel is just a horrible person, and
not a good dude.
Not a good dude at all. Another tech bro. I don't know what it is with these guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, is he friendly with Orban at all? Do we know, or is there any connection?
Yes, he's very friendly with Orban. As a matter of fact, didn't they have I'm trying to remember what the connection was, but they had some sort of Heritage Foundation, the Project 2025. That's what that is. They were involved in the Project 2025. They had a lot of investors that were investing in Project 2025 that were also investing in Orban. So yeah, there's all kinds of connections. You can they're all connected. Heritage Foundation, Peter Thiel, JD Vance. Did you see they exposed all his Venmo, I guess what do you call those? Transactions.
Transactions, yeah.
Yeah, and there was all kinds of everybody from the Heritage Foundation, a bunch of tech bros, all kinds of people that just have, by the way, JD Vance calls himself he likes to portray himself as a man of the people, this populist. But if you looked at his Venmo account, all you'd see is all these people that he's rails against, the elite, Harvard,
okay.
Yale, all
Yeah,
kinds of connections.
So I'm looking at an issue or an article in Forbes. So there's a timeline here. So let's see, just jumping in the middle here. Vance began planning for a career pivot outside of law following the talk, noting Thiel was possibly the smartest person he ever met, and that Thiel's Christian faith defied the social template I had constructed that dumb people were Christians and smart ones atheists, according to the Post. Thiel later became a pretty good mentor, in quotes, to Vance, according to the Washington Post, with Vance making the switch to venture capital and joining the Thiel co-founded Mithril Capital in 2015 as a partner, according to Politico. Vance published Hillbilly Elegy, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so yeah.
He's bankrolled JD Vance's career. And as a matter of fact, the reason why JD Vance was chosen was because there's a lot of pressure from the tech bros, big tech industry, and Russia. That's Putin's favorite candidate. That's who they wanted. That's also who the big tech wanted. So, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense because he doesn't add anything to the ticket, and it doesn't matter anyway, actually, because the last vice president got chased out of there by a lynch mob. Of course, JD Vance doesn't plan on doing that because he plans on going along with it and ignoring the Constitution and democracy.
Yes.
So,
Yes. And
there's
they will have laid the foundation for them to just go ahead and do that. And with, Supreme Court.
Well, he's got the right, people in place. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
so getting back to, so that was Political Sis that we heard open the show. And she's exactly right. And we're all anxious anyway, but then you add to it the post-debate freak out by the mainstream media, and then elite Hollywood donors coming out and calling for Biden to step down. And we're all out here, the door knockers, the phone bankers, the text bankers, the postcard writers, the small donation, reoccurring donation donors out here, the people who voted in their primaries for President Biden and Kamala Harris. And they're telling us, you know what, little ladies, you go ahead, you sit down. We've got this. We know
what's best for you.
We know. Yeah, exactly. And they're
citing, I'm a little, but I'm a little suspicious of the whole, freak out over the debate anyway, because of course we all know, like, Obama had a bad first debate. Everybody has a bad first debate. Ronald Reagan had a really bad first debate. He stood there totally confused about what was going on. He didn't know where he was. You could kind of see that Alzheimer's at that point. But anyway, I'm a little bit suspicious of that, because from what I'm hearing, they want to get rid of not only Joe Biden, but Kamala Harris, anybody associated with the administration. So maybe there are some people there that have ulterior motives, and they took this opportunity to try to, dump Biden. They use this debate performance they're using it as an opportunity to get somebody else in there who is more, likely to be aligned with them, their goals. Because there are some Democrats that, get donations from big corporations and big oil. And, I don't know. My mind is going everywhere about this. I just don't know what to think, because this is self-sabotage.
Yeah. And I mean, and really, the bottom line and why people are so angry, why the most engaged part of our electorate, on the Democratic side are so enraged by this is because we're the ones that are pro-democracy. We're the ones that want to enshrine and protect voting rights for all people in this country. And so
we believe in all that.
And
Yeah.
we believe in that, and we know that the people that we vote for to represent us, that's what they say that they believe in.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like a real betrayal and a slap in the face, that now
It is a betrayal.
they are, that they are basically saying like, okay, well, you know what, we've got to call for him to step down because our big donors are going away, and that's gonna,
Yeah.
and they're citing this, internal polling. But, you know, I don't know if you saw Hal Sparks come out and he said all internal polling is showing is that anybody, you know, that there are several Democrats that could beat Donald
Yeah,
Trump. But now,
of
but
course.
they're also using internal polling to say that they're seeing that he can't win in these down ticket ballots in swing states. But they're not showing their work, Anita.
That doesn't make
I
any
haven't
sense.
seen anything.
That doesn't make
I
any
haven't seen
sense.
anything.
No, because
Right.
those Democrats, from what I was hearing, are polling higher even than Biden in a lot of these races.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And
No.
none of that makes sense. That's why I've become kind of a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
I know that's usually your job, Karen, but
Well,
you know, I don't know what else to think. This is really strange. The Democrats are 4 months before the election are deciding they're going to, you know, throw in the towel and sabotage us like this.
And people are not happy. People are not happy. The base is not happy. Black women are not happy. Men of color are not happy. I'm not happy. You know, all of us who are paying attention, who have been talking to the people in our lives about the importance of voting, we're having to defend them because it is deeply, deeply cynical for them and insulting for them to just jump over. And I know that like there are some people that are saying that they're getting phone calls from their constituents asking them.
That's what I got. Yeah.
Down. I know. Yeah, you had spoken.
I called the Democratic Party here in Berk County, and I was told that they are getting phone calls suggesting that. But you know what? I don't know who these people, who the people they're hearing from. We don't know. They could be MAGA for all we know.
Right.
They're just trying to cause trouble. So it's important. By the way, let me just put this in there. Call your congressman, especially if you have a Democratic congressman or senator. Call them and let them know how you feel. That if you don't want Biden to step aside, if you want, if that happens, you want, if Joe Biden decides, if Joe Biden makes that decision, then it has to be Kamala, because apparently they're not hearing from enough of us. And that's all I'm hearing is people saying, you know, who are pissed off about telling, you know, Biden, who's done so many good things, great things. He's been the best president in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Just being so disrespectful to him. And then on top of that, to push aside the first Black woman vice president.
Right.
It's so
because and you bring up that great point, because here's the thing. I have not heard one of these people that are calling for President Biden to step aside saying that we need to give Kamala Harris a chance. You know what I mean?
No, I know. I haven't heard them at all.
They're not saying, right. And so, many people are very pissed off, and I don't know. This is kind of a longer clip here, and we can play as much or all of it. Yeah, we can break it up. No, so this is Jessica Anderson for Virginia House of Delegates. And so she posted a video, and I've seen numbers. I've seen dozens and dozens. There's hundreds of videos on social media,
on TikTok, on Twitter,
Twitter, exactly. That
Instagram,
people who are pissed off because they feel like this is not democracy when you override. What is it? 14 million, 17 million. I'm not sure the latest.
It doesn't even matter. He won. He won the Democratic primary.
He won the Democratic.
It is his nomination. He's the sitting president.
And the delegates, the delegates. He has the delegates. So anyway, so let's go ahead. Let's hear from Jessica here.
I need everyone to share this. I need you to get this to as many people, particularly people in the political wheelhouse, as humanly possible, okay? Me here, over here, regular middle-class American sitting in Virginia, okay, I only see Biden when he does a press conference or a speech for some type of event. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi, who is older than Biden, and Chuck Schumer, who is equally a dinosaur in Congress, okay, and multiple other Democratic leaders who talk to him every day, waited till 3.5 months to go, maybe he's not the guy. You talk to him all the time. And after one 90-minute failed debate, he does 70+ pressers and speeching engagements and question and answers and town halls, proving that he's competent, proving that he is coherent, proving that he still has a stutter, and having more time makes it easier for him to get his thoughts out collectively. And yet he's sitting somewhere with COVID right now, and you're like screaming, let's replace him. Now, let's remind ourselves that the only one that has access to the campaign funding immediately would be Harris because she's on the ticket. But let's also remind you that Harris is not the presidential nominee. She is not the one that won the delegations at all of the elections that took place for primaries, okay? So electing her could bring us into a world of legal challenges. And changing the ticket altogether creates both legal challenges and a financial concern about having to roll these funds over to a new campaign, okay? If we create legal challenges, that means that should our candidate win, whoever that may be, the RNC and the Republican Party may make it so that they can't be confirmed. And since Mike Johnson currently runs the House and helps reappoint the new House members, that could be a Democratic majority, but he has control over that. We are opening the gates for so many issues in this country when we have enough to deal with, okay? Let's also keep in mind that moderate voters will not, with a capital N-O-T, get on board with the progressive candidate. They will not. You keep floating Gavin Newsom and all these wild names, okay? No moderate voter is going to be on board with that. We are too polarized as a nation. You people are so out of touch with everyday voters. Because I talk to everyday voters. I talked to 6,000 plus of them last year, and I've continued to talk to them this year. And guess what? They want Biden. The moderate and the Dem voters in my district want Biden on the ticket. Because at the end of the day, Biden is on the ticket with Harris. So to have Biden step down for Harris to be the candidate when it risks legal challenges makes no sense when she's already on the ticket. I am so tired of rich, elitist politicians, people that are equally elderly, telling us what's best for us and not discussing the ramifications this brings forth. They did all their behind the door polling to see if Harris tested as well as Biden. And they're like, oh, we're going to do this. This is all a dim establishment front job, okay? They're simply trying to present like, we'll put this idea in the people's heads. We'll present these polls. We'll see how it plays out. They did that. Harris barely met the mark of Biden. You know why that is? Is because the handful of people they got on a phone or got to answer an email feel the way that most Americans feel. You're talking to other Dems who just want to make sure Trump doesn't win. You're not talking to moderate voters. You never talk to moderate voters. You never talk to apolitical voters. You talk to the people that are already going to vote for you no matter what. You are failing us. And if Trump gets back into office because y'all can't keep your mouth shut, because you guys can't get your shit in line, you won't pay the price. We will. My daughters will. My neighbors will. My community will. This is a rant, and this is a rant that I hope Nancy Pelosi sees. I hope Chuck Schumer sees. I hope Hakeem Jeffries sees. I hope Sink, whatever his name is, from freaking YUT. All of you people that have money and power and opportunity, and some of which have dual citizenship, would see this. Because some of us aren't going to be so lucky.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly how a lot of us feel. And she's hearing from voters who are telling her the same thing. I don't know who they're talking to.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't know what polls they're looking at, because guess what? They're not telling us. All they're doing is telling us Biden needs to step down. Oh, and by the way, they're not even telling us. We have to hear it from Axios, right? And you can't even believe them. Like, they said that Hakeem Jeffries had come out and said that Biden needs to step down. Hakeem Jeffries just released a statement saying he's riding with Biden. He's all for Biden.
Oh, you know what? I happen to have that right here.
Wow. How'd you do that?
Here, hold on. Let me play this for you.
Okay.
President Biden, as I've said repeatedly, is our nominee. He has a tremendous track record of success. He's one of the most accomplished American presidents in our history. And he has the vision, I believe, the ability, the capacity, and the track record to make a case to the American people that will result in us being successful in November.
Well,
I have to say,
is Leader Hakeem
that's-
Jeffries.
that's
He's
what-
still
yes.
behind President Biden in 2024 campaign. Okay.
Until I see Nancy Pelosi or Barack Obama come out and I hear them myself saying they want Biden to step aside, I'm not going to believe it. I don't believe them anymore because they keep telling us things that turn out to be wrong.
Right. Right.
So-
And it seems that there are people listening. There are people listening. You know, they keep floating. The media keeps floating these trial balloons about, oh, yeah, word on the street. You know, these backdoor conversations and meetings are happening. People urging President Biden to step down. And people are, enraged, like the two women that we've already played, like we are. I mean, I don't think, I was just telling Richard Chu's Views, during this whole thing, Anita, right? We all have been doing the work. We've all been, talking to people. There are good days, there are bad days. Sometimes you're having a bad day and I say, listen, you just, go take care of you.
Yeah.
I've got this. And vice versa. And I don't remember though, Anita. I mean, aside from like when there's, things that like really big things like the child separation, where we're both synced up with, the same level of outrage, things like that, big events.
Oh, we'll bringing that back. Yeah, we'll be bringing that back with Trump. Yeah.
We will. And of course. But it's right now, I don't think I remember consecutive days like this, like we've had in the last week with, all of the hits, the Supreme Court, the immunity thing, all of these things, and then having our own, the people who we
attacking their own president,
attacking the president that we
of our party
elected,
yeah,
of our party. And it is just, it feels like a betrayal. And honestly,
it is a betrayal.
It is a betrayal, and I am not leaving the party. I mean, this is the party that is standing between us and democracy. But when you try and take our votes, that doesn't seem like you're really all in on democracy, because now you're listening to these big donors. But you know what, Anita, the good news, people seem to be hearing, and the most important person that seems to be listening and hearing is President Biden. Okay?
Yeah, David, his campaign manager released a statement. Do you have that?
I do. So this was posted, statement from President Joe Biden on Trump's RNC speech. So this is just, post Donald Trump speaking at the insane asylum plan rally. So last night, the American people saw the same Donald Trump they rejected 4 years ago. For over 90 minutes, he focused on his own grievances with no plan to unite us and no plan to make life better for working people. He avoided mentioning his Project 2025 agenda, but still proudly flaunted the worst of MAGA extremism. Americans know exactly where he wants to take this country. They know that he inflicted pain and cruelty on the women of America by overturning Roe v. Wade. They know that he destroyed our economy once and will inflict pain on the middle class, that he wants to gut the checks and balances of our Constitution and rule as a dictator on day one. Donald Trump's dark vision for the future is not who we are as Americans. Together, as a party and as a country, we can and will defeat him at the ballot box. I look forward to getting back on the campaign trail next week to continue exposing the threat of Donald Trump's Project 2025 agenda while making the case for my own record and the vision that I have for America, one where we save our democracy, protect our rights and freedoms, and create opportunity for everyone. The stakes are high and the choice is clear. Together we win. Biden-Harris.
Yeah, and Jennifer O'Malley Dillon, his campaign manager, actually did release a statement that he's not stepping aside. He is staying in.
Yeah.
So along with that, I mean, I'm not sure what more people want to hear or want him to do. You know, does he have to do cartwheels or backflips or?
Yeah. What was it that Steph was saying? Like, you know, do the parallel bars or?
Yeah, he needs to do the parallel bars, and we're going to sit there as judges and give him a, 6.0.
Balance beam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. We don't have time for this. You know, I mean,
it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insanity. We are right before the most important election. And I know we've heard this before, but look, this election is not really about Biden versus Trump. It's about democracy versus dictatorship and Project 2025. That honestly, that's what that is. It's a plan for a dictatorship. Yeah. So, it just makes no sense whatsoever what's going on right now. And all these elite white men, and it has been, I haven't heard Barack Obama or Nancy Pelosi in public.
No.
I heard, and by the way, Bill and Hillary Clinton said, you know what, guys, stop.
Yeah.
Get with the program.
Yeah, we don't have time for this. What do we always say? Republicans get in line. They walk lockstep in the same direction. And we are a big tent. And that is one of the things that is most
and we're not a cult.
About us, and we are not a cult. But having said that, we are 4 months away from deciding whether we are an autocracy or a democracy, whether we can overturn the Dobbs decision and codify Roe into
expand the
law,
Supreme Court,
expand the Supreme Court.
Because Joe Biden has said he's going to do it. Joe Biden has said he's a real ethics rules that are enforceable and that have actual punishments, stuff like that. Yeah. There's so many things we're ignoring. Yeah.
Yes, protect our environment.
They don't believe in climate change. Donald Trump doesn't believe in climate change. He says it's a hoax from China.
Well, right. And talk about big donors. What is he doing hat in hand, Anita? You were telling me?
He's going to these billionaires with his hat in hand saying, hey, I will give you big tax cuts or whatever you want. Just help me fund my campaign. And the cash is pouring in. It's like he's running around with the for sale sign on him. And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and didn't he say to some of these, the big oil guys, that you can write policy? You're going to be able to, I'm going to let you write the policy.
He told the billionaires, basically, you know what, give me $1 billion and you guys can write my energy policy. Yep. Everything that Biden has done for climate change, he's going to get rid of. All
the
all of it. They're gone. The stuff that Obama put in place. He is selling out our country.
Yeah. Well, in the Chevron decision, right? So that's another thing, right?
Yes. The Chevron decision, which said that the judges have to make decisions. They can't rely on the expertise of, like from the FDA or the, EPA. It's strictly whatever the judge decides.
This episode of TruBlu Politics is brought to you by Night Sky Woodworks, featuring gorgeous products like cutting boards, cheese and charcuterie boards, and beautiful tea light holders, all crafted in their Chicago, Illinois wood shop, all of which have eye-catching designs and make the perfect complementary piece for any kitchen or living room. If you use TruBlu, that's TRUBLU, at checkout on their Etsy shop, you get 10% off any order, which is a pretty great deal if you ask me. So go check out their in-stock designs today or message your custom order request on their Etsy shop today by visiting etsy.com/shop/nightskywoodworks and use TruBlu at checkout for 10% off. That's etsy.com/shop/NITESKYE woodworks. and use code TruBlu, TRUBLU, at checkout for 10% off. And then, of course, amidst all of this, there is Roland Martin put out an interview with him interviewing a member of the Congressional Black
CBC,
Caucus,
yeah.
right? The CBC, and basically saying that they are under extreme pressure from some of these members. Yeah, in the
because they know
Democratic
that once if they can penetrate the Congressional Black Caucus, if they can get just one or two of them, the floodgates are open. Because right now, what's standing between Biden and whatever their pick is, it's not going to be Kamala, is the CBC, the CBC.
So I think that it's safe to say now that the CBC are the only thing standing between us and democracy.
I would say that too. Yes, because what they're doing, Alan Lipkin even said this is self-sabotage. He just couldn't believe that the Democrats are doing this because Biden will win. Biden will win. Yeah. He has predicted every election 9 out of 10. He predicted Trump would win. Okay, when everybody else said he wouldn't. As a matter of fact, Trump even sent him a thank you note. Yeah, I'm sure Alan Lipkin didn't want that, but the point is, he's a professor. He's studied this for a long time, and he points out all the different reasons why Joe Biden will win the election. He has incumbency. We have a great economy. He's done a good job. There's several factors involved, but we're just, we're just sabotaging ourselves. Not us, but these establishment Democrats who think they know what's best because the donors are telling them what's best.
And people are
telling them they're not going to,
people are feeling it now. Okay. And we've seen record, so stock market. Remember, Donald Trump said that
the stock
market was going to crash, and we've had record highs.
It went up 700 points yesterday.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we have that. You have people like my dentist, and I brought her up before. But this is one of those stories of the impact of President Biden forgiving student loan debt. So, she left dental school 25 years ago, $258,000 in debt. She has been paying compounding interest over the last 25 years. She owed about 400 and I think it was like 28,000 on the loan.
Wow.
When President Biden forgave that loan. She is a Black business owner.
Yep.
Changed her life, changed her business. She has been able to invest in her business and her employees. Provide better care for her patients.
He's invested in Black businesses more than anybody in history. Any president in history. This administration is invested in Black-owned businesses more than anybody. And this kind of student loan forgiveness, it does. It changes your life, and it allows you the freedom to do all kinds of, like you said, invest, in their employees, invest in themselves. Maybe go to, do something they wanted to do and they can't because they have this student loan around their neck.
Yeah, and he's not done, and we want him.
No, he's not done. And his proposal for housing, okay? One of the problems we're having right now is the high cost of houses, and the rents are very high right now.
Yes,
and he's talking. He's got a plan. Did you hear? Yes, I know you can speak that. Karen's in real estate, but did you hear a plan from Donald Trump other than we're going to deport 10 million people? What was it? What were the signs saying? Deport them all, or something like that, right?
Is that his solution for the inventory problem? Is that it?
The inventory. Deport. Oh yeah, that's his plan. Yeah. That's his plan for housing. Just deport people. You know what? That's what the Nazis did. He's following that plan.
Yeah.
So anyway, he will. He's talking about building 2 million more houses. And actually putting, what do you call it? A limit on what percentage, like 5% of your income or something like that, landlords can charge you for rent.
Right.
A cap.
Yeah.
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 And you see this, you see people, you see the housing market right now. And I know in Chicago, there's a housing shortage, right?
There is. Yes, there is. I mean,
And the
it
reason,
depends on, it depends on the price point. It depends on where you are, but absolutely. And so, yeah, it makes it very, very difficult for people to move from paying high rents into, buying homes where they're investing in themselves. They're, paying,
investing in their
generally speaking,
future.
investing
Yeah.
in their future, building wealth,
Hmm.
security, financial security for the future. And that is
Right.
what all of these things do. Everywhere I look, I see infrastructure projects happening. That's Joe
Yep. They're
Biden and
happening
Kamala
here.
Harris and
Yep. They're
Democrats.
happening here. That's right.
Yeah.
Broadband
So
going
we
up
need,
all to these places that never had it before.
that's
As
right.
a matter of fact, in these little rural areas, these red communities in these red states, he's investing more in them than anywhere
Yeah.
because there's a
Yeah.
lot of poverty. That's why there's a lot of poverty in red states. Okay. Which is funny
Mhm.
because they think they seem to have all the bad ideas, right? All the bad economic ideas. Still they still want to do trickle down. That's how bad their ideas are and how old they are.
Mhm.
But the housing thing, I mean, you see all the time these houses that are being bought up by these big corporations, right?
Mhm.
He wants to
Yeah.
stop that. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why he wants to put that cap on how much landlords can charge because they're jacking up the rents right now to make more profit.
Mhm. Yeah.
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 So
So, yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so I'm just looking here, because of course there's some great resources. We have Biden wins. Um, yeah, he can't wait to get on. I'm just looking at the Twitter page here. Um, he put out that enthusiastic campaign message saying he can't wait to get back on the trail. So, suck on that, all of you.
Yeah. I'm
I,
tired of hearing these
I,
reports from Axios.
yeah,
Seriously. That,
six
because
hours
everybody
ago.
wants, yeah, they all want to have the scoop.
Here,
Go ahead.
yeah, exactly. So here, okay, 6 hours ago, breaking. The Congressional Hispanic Caucus political arm has endorsed President Biden. President Biden isn't stepping down. Now is the time to unite to defeat Donald Trump. Let's do it. Okay.
Yep.
This is all from today. Okay. So,
So
this is
call your
it,
congressman and
and
let them know that you want them to stick with Biden. And honestly, and if the worst, if he decides he makes the decision to step aside, and only he should be able to
mhm,
should be making that decision, it has to be Kamala. Because it's
yes.
funny how they're not bringing up Kamala. It's kind of weird and it looks bad. So
Right.
I don't know what's going on there.
Mhm. Yeah, well, and this is it. This is the base of the Democratic Party is the African American community and Black women especially.
Black, yes.
They are the most enthusiastic voters.
Hmm.
And so you don't get to do that. It is just so disrespectful. It doesn't
You're
keep
pissing off
to
your base. You're
yeah.
pissing off your base.
I
It
mean,
makes no
and
sense.
exactly. And it is. It's like that lady was saying, you're not speaking to, the moderate voters. You're not speaking, they never talk to Biden voters. They never
No.
talk to Biden
You mean
voters.
they're not
And
going
not
into diners and looking for
they're
Biden voters? They're
they're
not going
not.
to Peoria
No.
over there and looking for in
No.
diners in there in Peoria and just like,
No.
hey, why
Mm-mm.
are you voting for Joe Biden?
Right.
Is it
And
because they might have a real answer?
exactly. And they're not. I've never ever seen somebody say, "Oh, excuse me, are you a Biden voter? We want to know what makes you tick." You
Yeah.
know,
No,
what?
they go and they go to these diners and they go try to find Trump supporters like there's some sort of animals in a zoo and
Mhm.
because the elite media actually looks down on them and
Yeah.
thinks they're stupid. And just like the Republican Party thinks they're stupid, that's why they lie to them all the time. Because
Yeah.
they're pretty sure they're going to buy whatever they're selling.
Mhm.
They just tell them the right way. I mean, they were laughing at Trump voters on Russian television. Did you see that? How, oh, they're so
Mhm.
stupid. All you have to do is, a slogan, and those guys will vote for you.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were making fun of them. And I just want to say something else in relation to the media and
Mhm.
what they've been reporting about Biden stepping down. Did you see that story, Mark Halperin? put out that John Meacham was writing a letter for for Biden, or a statement for Biden stepping down.
Yep.
And it was all BS. John Meacham came out and said, no, that's not, what are you talking about? That is not happening. And even John Meacham released a statement denying that story.
Yeah.
So you got these people like Mark Halperin, who's desperately trying to be relevant again ever since he got fired because he was sexually harassing women in a really disgusting ways. And these people, that's what they're doing, like Axios. They're all trying to get this story, get the scoop, and they're trying to one up everybody. And they're not getting it right. They're not even making sure that it's correct. It's just like what happened with Joe Biden when they were all talking about this doctor, the neurologist, going to the White House 8 times in 8 months. Yeah. It only took like a second of vetting to find out that neurologist was treating thousands of military personnel in the White House. And Joe Biden, for the most part, for most of those times, wasn't even in the White House.
He wasn't.
And
even in the White House.
He releases all of his medical records.
He releases them. He has annual physicals and neurological
testing.
Testing. Thank you. Yeah. See, I can't even.
I know. I'm like that too. I have too much in my head because I'm so angry.
I know. And I'm 59, and it's like, and it happens. I mean,
it happens.
So it's just, this whole freak out about, he called.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Vice President Trump, and it's like,
I have done that.
God.
So many
How many times I would do that, like, with my siblings, and when I was like a kid, when I would, I mean, everybody
all the
does
time.
That.
My brothers, my whole family, my mom, she would just call us Bobby, Donnie, Anita.
Exactly.
We were all Bobby, Donnie, Anita, because that way she would get it one of our, get it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's just silly because we all do that. It's very relatable. As a matter of fact, all these pundits talking about that as a symptom of whatever cognitive dementia or whatever
decline.
Decline. And they're doing it on the air all the time.
Exactly. I mean, and this is the thing. I mean, imagine the pressure. If I was up there and I had to get up in front of a crowd and people were just waiting, just chomping at the bit for me to screw up my words or misspeak or, and it's just like, he's a human being. And this is the thing that I think that they are so missing the mark on, and we've talked about this with the debate. He was sick. Okay. He said he was sick. He has been out dozens of times since and shown that he is absolutely fine. He can speak about foreign policy. He can speak about the economy. He can speak about trade. He can speak about, he speaks to.
He can speak about all the things you're supposed to know when you're president. Yeah.
Everything that you're supposed to know. He understands all of it. He understands the political machine. He understands how diplomacy works. Okay, but let me just finish my thought really quick, and then we can move on. But this is the thing. He showed up sick to work. Okay, he didn't want to let people down. Millions of Americans
can relate to that.
Work. Yeah, people can relate to that. People can relate to the pressure of always having people being tested. Every single day is a test. Every moment is a test for him. Yeah. And he has passed test after test after test, and yet they still won't talk about his wins. They still only want to talk about these misspeaks, it's really
amazing to me when Donald Trump can make a speech about Gettysburg. Wow.
Yeah.
Go up. What did he say? Never fight uphill, me boys. That never happened. Nobody knows what he's talking about. Somebody must have tried to teach him about Gettysburg, and he may have remembered bits and pieces. But it's like he doesn't know anything. When he talks about batteries in boats, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
He talks about his good friend Hannibal Lecter.
And then he talks about what was it he said? Planes falling out of the sky because the battery's too heavy. I mean, they're going to, just ridiculous things all the time.
Well,
You know,
forget
doesn't
about
know
the
anything.
ramming the ramparts. Remember the
He
ramming
ran the ramparts. He took over the airports. Washington. He ran the ramparts.
Washington.
He took over the airports. He did everything he had to do. That's what he said on 4th of July. He doesn't know anything about 4th of July.
He doesn't. And then the media, of course, right away for a long time, just like nonstop ad nauseum demands and calls for Donald Trump to step down because he's unfit.
Oh, and you know what? We've all known
No?
Donald Trump is unfit. Donald Trump is the most unfit person that's ever even run for president.
And yet, where are the calls? Where are the calls by the media? Where's the concern by the media?
Where are the calls? The New York Times in 2020 put out a statement that Donald Trump was the worst president in American history and does not deserve to be reelected. And they went down the list of all the reasons why. And now they're covering for him.
Yeah.
The worst president in our history. Yeah. By the way, historians also agree. They had, they placed him last. They placed Joe Biden 14th, which is pretty good for a president that's still serving. And yet, it seems like they do not care about the American people at all and what will happen to us if Donald Trump, because they know what will happen to us if Donald Trump gets elected. And as a matter of fact, I don't understand it because it's not in their self-interest because they're going to be shut down. He's already threatened to do that. Investigate SNL because they're making fun of me. You need to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air because he's making fun of me. He's actually called when he was president and said this, and yet we're the ones who are being accused of, weaponizing government.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And it's just like, but again, where is the media? Where is the media? I
don't know.
What do they do? CNN. CNN. They did, I guess, fact check. His speech.
Daniel Dale.
The thing of it is, but leading up until that point, right? It was basically they were covering it like it was just a normal, political convention and nothing to see here.
No, nothing to see here. The guy that tried to overthrow the government and stole our national secrets and is probably a Putin puppet.
The fact that the lunatic is they're passing out pieces of gauze with American flags on them for people to wear on their ears. Oh, here's another one. Here's one of the latest grifts to monopolize off of the assassination attempt. Sneakers with that are the assassination attempt sneakers with the iconic image of him with the fist pump and the flag behind him. Yeah. So
well, you know what? They'll buy anything. These people will buy anything. They bought pieces of his suit when he was when he surrendered, and they like to put and they also like to wear that T-shirt that says "Never Surrender" with this picture of where he surrendered.
Yeah.
These. I don't know what to say about the MAGA. These people are so far gone. If you've ever watched any of the interviews, like the Good Liars do or Luke Beasley does, they have no clue what's really going on. No clue. They don't read it.
Clue. But the media is supposed to have some, critical thinking and observe what they're seeing and report on the fact that this terrible event in Pennsylvania happened where a young registered Republican gun nut was able to climb up on a roof in shooting range of
broad daylight.
Donald Trump in broad daylight. There were people that were there that were alerting the police to the fact that he was there. There were sharpshooters on every other roof. And it happened, and they were able to get Donald Trump to safety. And then they proceeded to float these reports about the shooter that he donated $15 to.
All right, let's clear that up. Say
it. Super PAC.
Clear that up. Clear that up, please, because that drives me crazy.
Yes, and I don't believe that they have cleared it up, but let's go ahead and clear that up.
Okay, go ahead.
So, yes, there are two people with the same name as the shooter. I'm not going to say his name because it's not important.
No.
One of them, the shooter, was a registered Republican. His neighbors and friends say that he had Trump flags, that he was a gun nut, and he lived in Bethel, which is where the rally was held. There is another person that shares the name who is a 69-year-old man in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And he gave to Act Blue, $15 to Act Blue. The media still has yet to clean that up.
In
And
2018, right?
And they are not, and they're not pushing back at all on the claims by Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and all of these other people on the right accusing President Biden, calling for him to be arrested for inciting violence.
Yeah.
Calling for
saying they tried to kill they. Who are the they? Because it looks like it was one of your own. Okay. And we've been calling for gun control because of people just like him that fit that profile. And you guys don't want to do anything about it. You don't want to make sure Donald Trump signed that. Obama signed a thing restricting people who were so mentally unstable and possibly so they were probably on Social Security for being mentally unstable. But anybody that was on Social Security could not handle their their finances, could not get a gun. And what did Trump do? He got rid of that. So this guy is a perfect example of the people they want to sell a gun to. They want everybody to be able to buy a gun and be able to buy an AR-15.
Right. Right. They wear lapel pins of AR-15 instead of the American flag.
They pose with them for Christmas cards.
Yes. They put out ads hunting for rhinos.
Rhino hunting.
You know? So, calling on, let's see, some of the slogans like trial by combat.
Trial by combat.
Fight. Donald Trump said. Fight or you're going to lose your country. Calling some of these people calling on hunting Democrats.
The guy that's running, he's a lieutenant governor of North Carolina, and he's running for governor, said some people just have to be killed.
Yes.
I mean, we hear it all the time. The guy from Heritage that said, this is a revolution, we're winning it, and, the left, it will be bloodless unless they don't want it to be, unless they, resist. So I mean, they use violent language all the time. There's not both sides. I challenge anybody to find a Democrat making those kind of violent statements, condoning violence, or any ad condoning violence, because it doesn't exist.
No. And President Biden came out immediately and said, we do not condone political violence. He called the wife of the man who was killed at the rally. Okay. He came out and spoke twice, and Donald Trump was golfing.
Yeah.
Donald Trump couldn't find 10 minutes out of his golf game to call the widow
or the two
man who was killed,
fighting
or
for
the
their
two
lives.
people fighting for their lives that took bullets for him.
Yep.
And because of the violent rhetoric and because of the radicalization of this young man.
When you're always, I mean, I'm sure this young man, because he's a gun nut and he was associated with the t-shirt he was wearing, what is it called? Demolition or something like that. It's some far right gun group that Donald Trump Jr. I think has endorsed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was bound to happen to them. It's happening everywhere. I mean, it's happened in churches. It's happened in malls. It's happened in movie theaters. It's happened in bars. It's happened in parades. It's happening everywhere. Eventually it was going to happen in a political rally. And as a matter of fact, this guy was Googling Biden rallies and Trump rallies, the DNC. And it just so happens the Trump rally was going to be close enough to home that it would be a perfect opportunity to cause as many deaths as possible.
Right.
So that's why he picked Trump out.
And how disgusting, too, for these people, for Donald Trump to say, or Marco Rubio to come out and say, God protected Trump when there was somebody killed, when there were two people fighting for their lives, when we have an just unbelievable amount, first graders, Parkland, the kids
Babies.
at Parkland.
Kids at Parkland.
Uvalde, the Las Vegas, concert goers, movie goers, people in their churches.
Yep. Mother Emanuel, people in church.
Mother Emanuel, exactly
having
right.
Bible study.
So what are you suggesting, Marco? What are you suggesting, Donald?
God prefers rapists?
God, yeah, exactly. That God prefers you over everybody, all of these other lives,
innocent children.
God didn't care about. Innocent children, God didn't care about them. It is absolutely disgusting and despicable. And for the record, none of us condone violence. None of us would ever do what this young man did, would never do what any of these white cisgendered male shooters angry.
And they know it. That's why they don't protect themselves, because they thought they were protected, because like what Donald Trump said on January 6th was, well, they're not going to hurt me. They're not coming after me. When he wanted the metal detectors taken down, even though there were people with guns, AR-15s, as a matter of fact, he said, oh, I'm not worried. They're not going to shoot me. Well, guess what? Everybody is in danger. That should prove that.
Exactly right.
Could be anybody.
Absolutely. And so it just, it is just disgusting, but it is absolutely one of those things, Anita, that should rally all of us to get the vote out, make sure that our candidate, President Biden and Kamala Harris, stay on the ticket, the top of the ticket. We stop focusing our energy on what these big donors are trying to do. They need to stop now. They need to just stop. We need to move on. Okay. We are not going to abandon
have to know what's going on.
The base of our party. If you want to, if a member of the CBC came out and said, okay, look, we've had a conversation, and there's some really, there are some things that we need, to do here. And yes, whatever. If everybody was on board, then I would be like, okay, there's something that we really need to be concerned with.
Right.
That's not happening.
But it seems to be a pattern of people, the type of people that are coming out and saying Biden. And we've noticed it.
Yes.
And maybe that's why they're trying to float these rumors about Barack Obama and Hakeem Jeffries, because they're hearing it.
Yes. We're not backing down. We are all in for Biden and Kamala Harris to be the ticket to beat, because we know they have beat Donald Trump before. We know that they will beat him again. And how do we know that they're going to beat him again? Because what has happened because of Donald Trump? He bragged about overturning Roe. He did that.
Yeah, he did that. He appointed those justices, and he will appoint more that'll do worse things. I mean,
Absolutely.
if there's equally as bad things, let's just say, like getting rid of, look at Project 2025. They tell you what they're going to do. They're going to get rid of gay marriage. As a matter of fact, any kind of protections LGBTQ folks have, or Black people, they want to start a task force to go after racism against white people.
Yeah.
So if you have any kind of problems where you're being discriminated against at work, forget about it. If Donald Trump gets elected, that's going to be legal.
Yeah.
But if you're white and you say, oh, they hired that Black guy instead of me, must have been racism, that guy will actually be able to sue, and it will be likely that he'll win, because that's the kind of country they want, controlled by these white elitist men.
Yes. And and that is, that woman from Virginia too, Jessica from Virginia, what she said was very important. And it's just, again, nobody is talking about what, the game plan, because if you have these lawyers the Federalist Society lawyers launching these lawsuits in these states that where the primary winner, if you're not a primary winner, you don't get on the ballot. There's
Yeah.
that piece too. I mean, it's just we do not have time for that. We
And
don't
when-
have
when-
time
if-
for this.
And if Kamala wins, which she would, but
Mhm.
they will, oh my God, there'll be so many court cases filed against her saying the reason,
Yes.
well, she shouldn't have been on the ballot. That was
Right.
illegal.
Right.
Yeah. So
I
do you
want
really
to-
want to
I-
give them
look.
more ammunition? Yeah.
I really, I want this to be such a huge margin, just a landslide election where they can't, none of the challenges go anywhere. Like they're going to try. We know that they're going to try, but I want it to be so overwhelming that we know the next morning. If not the next morning, it's like the last time. What it was like 3 days or so, whatever.
It was
but
the Tuesday and we found out on Saturday.
I want to know. I just want.
Yeah.
We need to.
Well,
we
even if
can't
it's
go close.
close, even if
Yeah.
it's close,
Mhm.
we have to make sure that it is legally sound. There's not going to be anybody being able to challenge it,
Right.
or have any reason to. And we know that's the case, and we know it's going to be bogus, whatever they try to do. But we don't want to give them some more ammunition,
Right.
Right. And this kind of stuff, constantly talking about how Biden can't win, which is so not true.
Mhm.
Is what's is only going to it's giving them ammunition for later on, and they're going to say, see, all these people said Biden can win. How did he win?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And they're going to do it.
Of course they're going to do that.
These people. We know these
Yep,
people.
we've seen this
Jesus
movie
Christ,
before.
Seriously. So anyway, well, Anita, we covered a lot of ground. We had a lot to say
We did.
today.
We did. I don't know I don't know why.
Yeah, and so this was breaking, and you shared this with me, and I just wanted to play this, and maybe we can wrap things up after this. But let me play this. This is from AOC, and she made a statement today about President Biden stepping down.
I'm gonna say what a lot of these folks aren't saying. I'm just gonna say it. If you think that there is consensus among the people who want Joe Biden to leave, that they will support Kamala, Vice President Harris, you would be mistaken. And I'm going to say that because if they're going to come out and say all their little things on background off the record, but they're not going to be fully honest, I'm going to be honest for them. I'm in these rooms. I see what they say in conversations. A lot of them are not just interested in removing the president. They are interested in removing the whole ticket.
That's a coup
Mm-hmm.
within our own
Yes.
party. He is
Yes.
the president of the United States. She is the vice president. She's next in line. She's on the ballot with him.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should be infuriated by that. And I'm going to say it again. Call your senator, call your congressman, 202-225-3121, and let them know how you feel about what you just heard.
Yes. We are the voters. We say who is going to be our candidate. We have spoken.
We've already said. Yes.
We've already said, and we don't have deep pockets, but in a democracy, we believe that what we say, our votes determine who represents us. We have voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to represent us, to defeat Donald Trump. And that is the end of that. So they need to get on board or get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah. It's our only power, voting. And they want to take that away from us.
Yeah. And they're not going to. They're not going to.
They're not. They're not.
No, they will
But
not.
everybody
They will not.
needs-
And thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you
For staying
standing
in.
staying in. Okay. Thank you for hearing us. The
Yes.
voters, the people who voted for you, the people who want you, the people who are out donating their time,
Yep.
giving
And their
their
money.
time, valuable time and money to help
Mhm.
get you reelected. Thank you for listening to us. And we
Yeah, we may
know
not have the deep
God,
pockets. Yeah, but
we don't, but God
mm-mm.
forbid something happens to him for all these donors. Yes, we have every faith in Vice President Harris taking the reins and succeeding and
And
doing
winning.
an amazing job. Thank you.
And
Yes.
winning, though. That's what they're worried about. They
Yes.
think she can't win. Stop that kind of talk.
Yep.
She can win. They
She
said
can
that
win.
about Barack Obama.
Mhm.
Barack Hussein Obama.
Yes. That's right.
And they said the same thing. And you know what? They were wrong. And they're wrong this time,
Yep.
too. I think it's going to excite a lot of young people, especially. I've talked to my daughter.
Mhm.
She's very excited about Kamala. I don't know if you talked to your kids. Have you talked to your kids
Mhm.
about this? And how do they feel about Kamala?
I have Kamala, we haven't gotten into that. We have spoken about the debate for performance, some of the misspeaks, things
Mhm.
like that. They're voting for Biden. At the end of the
Yeah,
day,
my
they're
kids
voting
are
for
too.
Biden.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's it, and that's all. None of the voters that I have spoken to that are Biden voters, not one of them said that debate performance caused them to rethink Joe Biden
Yeah.
is the head of the ticket and Kamala Harris is VP. So let's move on. Media,
And
move on. Enough
move
is
on.
enough with this. We don't
Yeah.
have time. We do not have time. And on that note, Anita, thank you.
Mhm.
This was
Thank
great.
you.
And yeah, we're
Yeah,
just
it's
gonna
a very,
keep our nose down. Yeah, and keep
very
fighting.
scary time.
It is, but we've got this. We're
We
gonna
do.
do
We
this.
do. And we have to just keep focused, keep our eye on the prize. That's getting rid of Donald Trump and the Republicans. We need to vote blue, no matter who. But I mean, I don't mean that the president. I mean, you need to vote for a Democrat.
Yes.
You
Yes.
have to, no matter what happens.
No
But
matter what happens.
well,
Yes.
I'm confident that Joe Biden's going to stay in the race. And also, I'm confident that if he thought he couldn't win, he loves his country and the American
Yes.
people enough to where he would say, okay, I can't win. I'm going to hand this over to somebody who can. I have full confidence in him. Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about the people. The only person he's thinking about is himself. It's going to keep him out of jail. He's going to be able to get rid of all those court cases.
Yeah. Yeah.
And make himself
and you're
more
right.
wealthy and sell our country out. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you make a great point, and we'll end it with you giving that number again to call members of Congress. But let me just say this: let me just say this really quick. We are going to fight, and we are going to call, and we are going to make sure that President Biden knows that we've got his back. If for some reason he decides that it's time for him to step aside, if for whatever, whomever it is, if it's Kamala, that is who it should be. Absolutely. If it is not, for anybody that is even thinking about, and we would all be angry. We're all frustrated, aggravated, but this is the thing that we all must be very, very, very clear on. We cannot hand this country over to Donald Trump and the Republicans. We cannot. It will be the end of our democracy. So there is no conditioning your vote. There is no punishing this person or that person for
You have to be an adult about it.
We have
You have
got
to be an adult.
remember.
Yeah.
We have got to remember, no, we're not happy, but we want to live in a democracy. And so the people that you are feeling angry at right now, there's a democratic process that we can use.
And we're the ones who are going to suffer if they don't vote for Democrats. It's not going to be the people that you're mad at.
That's right. Exactly right. It's not going to be the people who you feel are doing this. It is going to be all of us. Okay. And some of us are more privileged than others. But we have all got to pull together, and we have got to all think about everybody. We are a family. We are a community. of people. We want this to be a multiracial, multicultural democracy, and it will not be that if Donald Trump and the Republicans get back in. So we must.
That's what this fight is about, actually.
That's right. So why don't you end it and give that number, and we will say peace out.
Okay. It's 202-225-3121. Call your senator, call your congressman, leave a message with the Congressional Black Caucus and let them know you have their back and stand strong. And that's it. Call and let them know how you feel.
All right. Well, peace out to you, Anita.
Peace out.
Good day.